Hey there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault once again. I'm really excited and privileged to bring you guys the exclusive world first look video of the 2017 Bajaj Pulsar 180. Yes, the new 2017 Pulsar 220F has also arrived at the showrooms already, and I'll be featuring that bike soon as well. The significant change for both these models is that they comply with BS4 norms now, which pretty much means the hero of the masses is now also more eco-friendly. Yes, it might be slightly disappointing for those expecting the 180NS or the 200NS Fi, but we never know what surprises Bajaj has in store for us soon. Even the VS400 is slated to launch anytime soon, so looks like Bajaj is all set to end this year with a bang. Now in this video I'll be sharing all the details I managed to acquire so far from reliable sources. For rest of the specs and other information, I'd request you to please keep a close eye on the description portion below, where I'll be adding all the updated info as I get to know about it. Now Pulsars are so iconic and so popular here in India that news about any new Pulsar is like a blockbuster movie releasing, and why not, because Bajaj have revolutionized biking here in India with the Pulsar franchise. They entered the scene when the commuters were ruling the roost here in our nation. The Pulsars changed the way people looked at motorcycles, and as a result changed the course of motorcycling here in India. They redefined value for money and came across as a revelation that underscored the fact that there is more to a motorcycle than just offering good mileage and going the distance. Over the last 15 years, Pulsars have been loved, adored and cherished by bikers from every mohalla and every gully across the various cities of our nation. There are kids who grow up with the ambition of riding a Pulsar someday. There are students who work hard day in and day out on their Pulsar to become a professional stunt rider one day. And then there is the common man who recalls the wonderful memories he has had with his Pulsar all along. Pulsar now is more than just a brand. It's a movement against mediocrity, it's a culture that goes against convention, and it is a lifestyle that continues to captivate people not only across our nation but also in foreign markets, which I believe is a thing to be proud of as an Indian bike enthusiast. Now after all the emotional talk, let's get down to business and find out what's new with this all-new 2017 Pulsar 180. First of all, it is BS4 compliant, which means the bike is now more eco-friendly. The second most important upgrade, and something that all of us were hoping for, is the addition of a rear disc. We now get a 230mm diameter rear disc, which is the same unit found on the Pulsar 220F. Thirdly, we have the visually apparent new body graphics that have been introduced for the 2017 Pulsar range. Also, the bike is back in its monotone color scheme as opposed to the dual tone color scheme that was adopted for some time. We also get sporty looking rim lines, and trust me, in this red and black color with the new decals, the bike looks super hot. The instrument cluster also gets a blue backlit display now as opposed to the orange one earlier. The clip-on handlebars now come with matte finish as opposed to the glossy finish earlier. Also, the seats seem to be of better quality now. They aren't as hard as they were before. The cushioning seems to be just about perfect, because even overly soft seats aren't supposed to be good for long rides. Now design wise, as I mentioned earlier, the bike was an ahead of its time design. I loved the way it looked back in 2006 when this design was first introduced with the Pulsar 180, which was the first bike to go on sale via their then launched pro biking outlets. I was among the first to own a blue Pulsar 180 UG3 here in Hyderabad because I bought it even before the showroom was officially inaugurated. The bike served me well for nearly 6 years without giving me any major headaches, and I do have some fond memories with that bike. I had also owned the Pulsar 150 UG4 for some time, and the bike had impressed me with good mileage back then as well. Anyway, getting back to the review, the design hasn't changed much. We get the same wolf-eyed headlamps up front that look pretty attractive despite having been around for several years. Coming to the profile, the Pulsar's trademark muscular fuel tank looks striking, and its look is further enhanced by the extended tank cowl that makes the bike look sharper. The side and rear panels are the same and they look nice and sleek. Even the exhaust remains the same, and the bike looks like a sharpshooter when viewed side on. At the back we get the signature twin LED strip setup for the tail lamp cluster, which has become a hallmark for the Pulsar design concept. The seats, as I mentioned earlier, seem to be of better quality and are slightly softer when compared to the harder seats available earlier. The clip-on handlebars get a matte finish and are well positioned to offer a comfortable riding posture. We do get Pulsar's trademark backlit switches, and we do get the high beam flasher as well as an engine kill switch. The speedo also remains the same, but it now gets blue backlit display, which looks cool. We get an analog tachometer, whereas the digital display contains the speedometer, odometer, 2 trip meters and a fuel gauge. Talking about the engine specs, again, as I told you before, there's limited information that I've garnered so far, so I cannot talk about whether the power and torque figures have changed or whether they remain the same. Even the official site hasn't been updated, nor do we have any brochures of this new lineup at the dealerships. The good news, however, is that I did manage to get a decent long ride on this bike through the city and also on some empty stretches, and the bike feels just a wee bit more responsive now. As you slot it into gear, open up the throttle and let go of the clutch, the bike simply lunges forward like an animal that's raring to cut loose. The clutch feel is better now, it isn't as hard as it used to be before. The seats are more relaxing. The throttle response is light and crisp as it has always been. The bike is nice and refined as it has always been as well. There are no major annoying vibrations apparent even at close to 100 km per hour. Now coming to the main point, which is the rear disc, we get a 230mm diameter disc at the back and we get a 260mm disc up front. The rear disc does come in handy and results in faster deceleration, but I believe it isn't as effective as we would hope for it to be. If possible, maybe Bajaj can tweak it a little bit and add in that extra bite that would render it more effective. Nevertheless, getting a rear disc is what most of the fanboys have been hoping for, and Bajaj never disappoint, do they? They always listen and give us what we hope for sooner or later. Now talking about the suspension, we get telescopic suspension with anti-friction bush up front and a twin 5-step adjustable nitrox suspension at the back. The ride quality isn't too stiff nor is it too soft. It is just about ideal for our Indian conditions. Other tech specs appear to be the same as per my assumption, like fuel tank capacity of 15 liters, ground clearance of 165 mm, etc. Mileage wise, again, I think we can expect slightly improved figures now with the BS4 compliant engine. I used to get around 45 kmpl from my 180 back then, so I think it would be reasonable enough to expect something around that figure now as well. The current ex-showroom price in Delhi for the preceding model is around Rs 76,000. This bike, the new 2017 Pulsar 180, is supposed to be dearer by around Rs 3,500, I believe, which is quite reasonable considering the fact that we now get a rear disc, the new decals and the other stuff that this bike has on offer. So that's pretty much it for now. I just hope you found this video useful. Until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless and ride safe.